All right, good morning. It's Friday. That means Firearms Friday, and today we're going to do things just a little bit different. Uh, I have pulled up. Well, for one, we've got this fantastic meme or joke or whatever. This metal sign that says, "Due to the rising cost of ammunition, I will no longer be able to provide a warning shot. Thank you for your patience and understanding in these hard times." Guys, this speaks to me. How you doing there, Cameroon?
Well, I'm pretty darn fantastic. I recently reacquired ooh,
The white hat.
the white hat, in fact. But there's a problem.
Because the fact is, white hats matter.
Because I don't have my new system fully set up yet. If I put it on, I can't see my face. I
I
look
think
like one of
everybody's okay with that.
the.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Brushfire Mind, brought to you by the Meat Wall and Anonymous.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, man. I look like one of those people giving an interview, and I don't know. Maybe I strongly suspect that the chat is going to disagree with you, though.
I don't, but I'll let you know if they do. So, yeah, you straight up looked like you were ready to whistle blow on somebody.
Yes.
Not that I would suggest you make a habit of it. So, all right, one fellatio joke down. Let's move on to people getting shot in the face for doing stupid stuff. So,
Hey, real quick, people getting shot in the face for doing stupid stuff.
go ahead.
When my boys are awake, we're gonna watch the new episode of The Mandalorian.
I'm probably gonna have to put it off till this evening because, yeah, stuff to do, stuff to do.
Like at this point, like seriously, everybody says heard legends about the Mandalorians and their ability to fight and kill, and yet people keep trying to fight the Mandalorian.
Do y'all really want to ride this train?
I mean, Moff Gideon had to bring like an entire squadron to slow him down in the climax of the first season.
And even that didn't work out for him because you know I have a backup army hidden under your planet is a combat attribute. It's one thing to say I'm an unstoppable badass. It's quite another thing to say I also come with an immeasurable number of additional unstoppable badasses which might or might not deploy at any given moment, whether I want them to or not. So
Ah, this is
so
the way.
this is the way. So normally we're doing it a little different than we normally do it. Normally we pick one story and we roll with it. This week, however, I went ahead and grabbed the top dozen DRTs off of Reddit's DGU thread. And guys, this is the DGU thread, which is to say I have not even opened the articles yet. We're gonna we're gonna read these cold and see how this works out. I might be great. It might go poorly. Wish us luck. I guess I could start by reading the headline from the site. Meals on Wheels worker shoots teen suspect during armed robbery.
Wow. It's, it's going to be one of those kind of mornings.
Oh yeah. Let me go ahead and pop up since you're stationary. Let me where the where the hell is my screen share option? There it is. I'm gonna go ahead and screen share this with Cameron. I think that's the one you want. So, can you see it, Cameron?
I can see it, but I would suggest that you actually screen share the chat with me. I can keep an eyeball on it while you read.
Fair enough.
See, I have some gray matter.
Screen share, and the chat. Where the hell is the chat? This one's the chat.
and and besides, like, where are you at in your life where um, you're gonna rob a Meals on Wheels worker?
Well, apparently you're in your teens, and you know what? I'm glad you asked that. Before we even read the article, there's a comment here. Jack Sawyer 76, 14 years old and armed, thug, all debt shackles U.S. and working in concert with a fellow thug, and then you've got this guy Blue Chip Data, which I'm just gonna go ahead and assume it feels a lot like he's trying to be sarcastic. But the comment he makes is just a youthful mistake, guys. Haven't we all thought about mugging someone as a teen? They shouldn't be punished for just being misunderstood. Now, they might not become astronauts like they were working towards because Poe's law is too strong. Um, I'm assuming that this guy's being sarcastic, but we've talked before about the young men's conference that Cameron and I covered a little over a year, well, almost 2 years ago now, year and a half, where it was supposed to be all about getting young men in a room and have them with some inspirational characters, and specifically it was for young black men. It was a black church group, and it was all about teaching young black men that they can be successful no matter what. And every single speaker at that event told a story about being a teenager, about being a young man, and engaging in recreational felonious activity, up to and including murders. And they talked about it very explicitly as if this is just what young men do. And that was eye opening for Cameron and I, because it had never occurred to me to think of recreational felonious activity as just stuff that boys do. It's
Yeah,
not, by
I
the
mean,
way.
when I was
That's not
15,
normal.
I know, but like I'm still blown away by that. Like when I was 15, I was just trying to take off a bunch of bras, like. But the pastor who referred to himself as in, um, oh, Danny just messaged us. Danny, we'll get to that message. Oh, that's amazing.
Uh-oh.
Um, but no, like seriously, like the pastor who called himself a bishop. I wasn't real sure you could call yourself a bishop. Oh, you just took away the.
Don't
You
worry about
just
it. You'll have it back in just a second.
um, and then telling the story about how he and his brother at like 15 like stole a car and a cop pulled in behind them as they were crossing over the bridge, and it just I wouldn't even know how to steal a car, and I'm a grown up, you know we're so yeah, the sarcasm I think is pretty I think it's obvious.
Yeah. So, Columbus, Ohio. Columbus, Ohio. The Columbus Division of Police is investigating a shooting in a South London neighborhood Friday morning involving a paid Meals on Wheels worker and suspected armed robber. Real quick, let me just go back one. This is from November the 20th. I have about a dozen stories pulled up that happened over the course of the last 7 or 8 days. 7 days. Right, so this is since last Friday. In fact, this one apparently happened while we were doing last Friday's Firearms Friday show. He defended himself. Somebody tried to rob him, said Menoris. Uh, I don't know how much Spanish y'all have in Ohio, so I'm gonna guess it's not Menoris. Menoris. But anyway, who says he and several neighbors, after hearing gunfire, went to assist a well-known Meals on Wheels driver who was robbed at gunpoint just minutes after dropping off food to someone's home on on East 18th Avenue. We know him because we see him coming through here every day being charitable, delivering meals. Yeah.
Wow.
If
So,
you're going to pick a target, if you're going to target somebody to commit a crime against, tip number 1: start with the immediate celebrity status and work your way down to somebody that nobody's gonna miss.
well, you know why the thug picked this as a target, right? There was a predictable pattern of behavior. It could anticipate the ambush, and they assumed, since they were charitable and benevolent, they'd be a soft target.
Yeah, that's a poor assumption. What is it that a wise man fears? The rage of a quiet man. Um, or I'm
Yeah,
sorry, the rage of a good man.
yeah, that's what it is.
Um, good men. This is something Jordan Peterson talks about often. Good men. You cannot be a good man unless you are also a dangerous man.
Hmm.
If you are not dangerous and if you never cause anyone any harm because you are a safe man, because you are a weak man, because you are incapable of causing anyone harm, then you have not made a moral choice to do good. You have simply been useless. You've been weak. If you are a very dangerous man who does good and could at any moment cause harm for the good, that is a good man. And when I say cause harm for the good, I'm talking about I'm walking down the street and I hear a young lady in an alleyway cry, "Rape, rape, help me, help me." A good man is not incapable of drawing and putting lead into the enemy. A good man hears a woman cry, "Rape, rape, help me," and hopefully prevents a rapist from having taxpayer dollars wasted on his prosecution.
Why'd you shoot him 5 times? Because that's all that was in my wagon wheel.
Yeah, that, that is correct. It's a 5-shot revolver, but he's got 9 holes in him. Well, after I ran out of bullets, I just started poking him with it. So the Columbus police say the man shot a teenage suspect, wounding him when the juvenile and an accomplice attempted to rob the worker, both at gunpoint as he got into his car. Uh, we immediately said we know we have to help him. We know he is defending himself. We wanted to help the kid as well, said Minoris. A 14-year-old teen suspect. God! I know we already read that in the comments section when we were looking at the Reddit thread, but 14 years old. Y'all, love your babies. Raise them.
Hell, just be even semi-present in their life. I mean, as stereotypical as it is, it's the truth. What you want to bet that this 14-year-old kid hadn't talked to his dad in at least a month?
Right? What were you doing when you were 14, Cameron?
I already said I was trying to take off as many bras as possible.
Well, and that's hilarious, but no, in all seriousness, when you were 14 years old, you played magic cards, you drank beer, you smoked cigarettes, right?
Never did the cigarettes, but when I was 14, about the worst that I did was like sneak out of my house to go share a 6-pack with the kid down the street.
See, 14, 15 years old, I had some habits. I had to keep myself in lager and Legos. I had some bad habits that, mommy and daddy aren't going to just give you money when you're that age to go blow it on magic cards and beer and cigars, I every Saturday, me and the boys, we after we got off work in the morning, oh, oh, that's interesting. We would go to the dojo and kickbox, and then after the dojo, we would go to the Chinese restaurant and we would eat at the buffet until somebody threw us out. And then we would go and drink beer and smoke cigars on the train tracks before we went to the armory, where we would box until it was time to go eat something else, and then we would go play Magic. And somewhere in the middle of there was probably more beer and cigars. Somebody had to pay for all that shit. And guess how we did that? We had jobs.
Yeah.
I was managing the omelet bar at the student kitchen at Bowdoin College at the time.
My very first job was bag and cart boy at the Piggly Wiggly over off West Avenue. Is that Piggly Wiggly still there?
No.
Well, when it was a Piggly Wiggly, that was my very first job.
Danny says, I bet Lowry makes a buffet owner cry. I have slowed down some now, Danny, but especially in my teens and 20s, I got thrown out of a lot of buffets.
Even Moon get full sometimes.
Yeah, all those jokes that John Panette told about getting thrown out of buffets, I've heard every one of those lines. All you eat is pork. Even Moon get full sometime. So I say all you can eat. So I say all anybody can eat. Not you. Not you. You try vegetable. You scare my wife. And at one point the Chinese buffet in Maine that we went to all the time in Brunswick, it got shut down because they were serving seagull as sweet and sour chicken. So over the course of my experience there, I probably ate more than my weight in sweet and sour seagull. Never noticed. It was delicious. And there's just something about eating a pile of egg rolls and sweet and sour pork right after you've left the Shaolin dojo that morning.
Oh.
Have we talked enough about the 14-year-old? Are we ready? 20 minutes into the show, are we ready to move to the second story?
Wait, so I'm confused. Is it a true DRT or was he just wounded?
Oh, no, it looks like he was, 14-year-old teen suspect was rushed to a nearby hospital and is expected to recover. Now searching for a second suspect who ran off with the worker's stolen phone and wallet. Life Care Alliance, the organization that runs the Meals on Wheels program, tells ABC 6 Fox 28 in a statement, this was a horrible incident, very unfortunate. Don't want volunteers not to feel safe. Don't encourage people to carry a weapon. Life Care Alliance says the employee, who is a retired police officer, passed several employment background checks and the organization was not aware the employee carried a firearm while making deliveries. And you know what? I'm glad you made me read a little more of this. I have had jobs where the company policy was that you're not allowed to carry a firearm. Something that I would like to start doing again. We did it once. We gave a partial list. And as we've seen with this election cycle, I don't want to get into politics too much today. We've been in it a lot, and we're going to be in it a lot more in the coming weeks and months and years. But I am sick to death of spineless conservatives in our leadership positions. And I am sick to death of capitulating to the enemy controlling our economy and our culture with their sycophantic cowardice. And one of the things that I hope I can get our viewers and hopefully a broader audience at large to join us in, I mean to boycott, and I mean fully boycott, if you are employed by a company whose company policy is against the Second Amendment. They all need to be left to wither on the vine. Maximum possible boycott.
Yeah. Man, Danny and Krista, they appear to be the only people in the chat, but at least they're chatting.
They are.
And that's okay.
And they're not the only people watching. We've got there's 5, 6 people watching on YouTube, and I actually can't see how many people are watching on Facebook. One. We've got one watcher on Facebook. Hey, tell us who you are. One viewer on Facebook. Hopefully it's family. If not, share it. Invite people. Get the show. Keep the show going. All right. We're ready to move on to the next one. And by the way, let us know in the comments, in the chat, wherever. How do you like this format where we hop on with a stack of these DGU stories and dig through them? Let me know what y'all think of this.
Yeah, just the one thing. I mean, you covered it pretty well, but I just want to give my full-throated endorsement to go along with it. But we don't want to encourage our people to carry firearms. Why not? I mean, it's a bad look. Really? No. What's a bad look is having your Meals on Wheels. I mean, according to the article, this person so routinely did the charity that they were well known in the community for doing the charity. And you're more worried about that person carrying a 38 or a 9mm than you are that person getting robbed while they do the charity.
Yeah, nope, not on my watch. Bad guys should be dead guys. So, unidentified man dead after East Prince Hill robbery shooting. This is from the Cincinnati Enquirer. This was also last Friday. A man is dead Friday following reports that an East Price Hill store employee shot a man attempting a robbery. Authorities have not yet identified him or are asking for the public's help. Wait, hang on. A man is dead Friday following reports that an East Price Hill store employee shot a man attempting a robbery. Authorities have not identified him and are asking for the public's. So we've got a dead John Doe. Gotcha. Police said Thursday that a man was shot while attempting to rob a convenience store around 4:45 p.m. Officers reported that a store employee fired the shots. Excuse me. The man was taken to the University of Cincinnati Medical Center. The employee was not injured. Cincinnati police say the man is early 20s, has tattoos that say established 2001, Olivia T. and Edward, all in a cursive font. That sounds like he's probably 19. Established 2001, it's probably a joke about his birthday. Cincinnati police have listed the incident as a felonious assault, but have not released the name of the employee. There have been at least 2 prior instances at the Price Hill neighborhood in which store clerks or owners have shot would-be robbers by firing at them. Good!
Boy, robbers in that area are dumb. They didn't get the message the first couple of times.
Remember in the in the latter years before the turn of the century, when the Waffle Houses around Conyers were all being robbed constantly, except for that one on the corner of 138 and Georgia 20, because the one guy that tried to rob that joint got his brains beaten in by a giant chef named Leviathan, who came over the counter at him with a frickin' egg skillet. They stopped robbing that one. Hey, Patrick's with us. Good morning, sunshine. So I think Patrick joined us just in time to hear me reference the Leviathan attacking people with an egg skillet. He remembers those days. In 2015, a store owner at the G&J Market shot a man during an attempted armed robbery. In that case, the suspected robber survived. And in 2019, the Hamilton County Prosecutor's Office did not file charges against a female clerk at the Glenway Pony Keg who shot and killed an armed man attempting to rob the West Price Hill store. All right, so public service announcement to West Price Hill ne'er-do-wells. Maybe go one town over.
Yeah, I mean, shoot me once, shame on you. Shoot me twice, shame on me. Shoot me thrice. Look, how did we get there?
Hamilton County Prosecutor Joe Dieters did not file charges against the store employees or owners in either case, stating both were clear instances of self-defense. Y'all, I just sprouted a whole big pile of respect for Cincinnati. After the 2019 incident, Dieter said, if you go into a store or a home with a gun to rob it, you have forfeited your right to not be shot.
Damn, son. That's you don't hear elected officials talk that way that often.
That's the county prosecutor. And now we're just into the clickbait. So that's the end of the article. I like it. I love it.
So
I want
DRT.
some more of it.
So we got us a DRT.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm going to go ahead and give this article the hat trick because it listed 3 of them. One was a survivor, but they were three DGU incidences. Moving on. Patrick says, based. Roger that.
Yes. The chat agrees. That's a good story.
Ooh. Okay. I just had a thought. This will be a good gag clip for us to use in the future. Patrick said based, and I thought, wait a minute, what about a little video stinger? Something about being based in that way with a reference to dropping the based and a little dubstep in there.
All our based belongs to us.
Oh yeah, that's good too. Drop the based. All your based. It's all your based.
So seriously, just to compare and contrast those two things. We had the first story where it's like, we don't want our workers to feel like they need to carry guns. And then you have the second one where the county prosecutor's like, nah, go healed, please. The bad guys do.
And in 9 out of 10 cases that I'm going to encounter a problematic person on the street, perhaps Wyatt said it best. There's no need to go heels to get the drop on a dub like you. But it's that 10th one. Even if it's 99 out of 100, it's that 100th one. Ill prepared is not where you want to live. Fail to plan and plan to fail, right?
Right.
That's just good math. 5 bullets is better than none.
Especially when they're of the 357 variety.
Hollow point. Yeah.
I mean, it's like you could knock down a brick wall with that kind of round.
Yeah, and Dad and I were at the range last week. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys that video real quick, just because it was fun. But Dad and I were at the range last week shooting his big 44 mag, and I reminded myself of something. Now, while Dad got the dead nuts hard center shot, a football field away with the big pig, I still hit the man-sized target at 100 yards. And that's most people would say that's okay. That's reasonable. That's a reasonable shot. So there's the sergeant major with that big old 44. Boom, baby. There's that man-sized target a football field away. And that, my friend, is a closing shot. But to back to your point about the difference between the two, the Meals on Wheels people said we don't want our people to feel like they have to go armed. Guys, here's the correct sentiment. I want you to feel like you don't need to be armed and then be armed anyway. I
Yeah.
want you to live where you feel like you are perfectly safe and do not need a firearm. In the same way that I want you to carry a pocket knife and a cigarette lighter at all times, not because you expect for all the cars to blow up, the electricity to go down, and the roads to fall apart, and you're suddenly stranded behind a Walmart with canned food and no way to cook it. But just in case, a little pocket knife and a cigarette lighter and a decent pistol just don't take up that much room in your pockets or on your belt. Be prepared for things to occur. And quite simply, with just those three items, a pistol, a pocket knife, and a cigarette lighter. I also recommend carrying cash, but just the pocket, the pistol, and the cigarette lighter. The pocket knife, pistol, and the cigarette lighter. Guys, you give me a knife and I can build a forge. And once I have a forge, I can build a society. Or, at least scrape up some lunch. So, go ahead, Cameron. You sound like you're
No,
about to say something.
it just, I mean, the whole mentality behind it is frustrating. I'm of the opinion that I wish more people were armed. There's I've told this story before, so I'll make it very brief. But I love Count Dankula. I love the high level trolling stuff. I do. I can't help it. It's my vice. Well, one of, but um, and he visited America last year. He referred to it as the pilgrimage to the Holy Land, the Godfather of all memes. He went and did a show with Alex Jones, and at one point in time, he went into a market in Texas to get a pack of cigarettes, and looked around, and the shop owner was armed. The white guy in line in front of him was armed. The black guy in line behind him was armed. And a friend of his said, "Didn't you feel uncomfortable?" And he was like, "Fuck no, I was in the safest shop in Texas."
Some of my favorite DGU stories are stories where somebody tries to rob a pawn shop or a gun store. And I'm just like,
Why?
what?
You have to know what the outcome is going to be.
like, I, okay, so yesterday was Thanksgiving, had the family over, right?
Mm-hmm.
And having the
Hey,
family over.
hold on. I'm doing my YouTube show. Love you guys.
Good morning, boys. But having the family over, several of my cousins were over. I have a lot of cousins that are pretty little girls, and I mean little girls, like my grown ass women cousins. Most of them, if not all of them, are an inch, within an inch of just shorter than or just barely taller than my 10-year-old daughter. So these are not big women, and among them, one of them works in the pawn shop. Please believe me, Mrs. Terminillo is not the one you want to be on the wrong side of coming into the pawn shop to rob the place. I remember when she got married, I knew her husband, I knew the fiance's name was Nick. I don't know why. It had never occurred to me to learn his last name. And then the preacher pronounced them Mr. and Mrs. Terminillo. And I looked at my brother, Edward, I said, "Did that motherfucker just say Mr. and Mrs. Terminator?" Because I did not know it was going to be that kind of a party. And it was a hell of a great wedding. Amid those same small, slight female cousins that I'm referring to, Lauren, the doctor, who kills pigs with a knife. And when I say pigs with a knife, I mean hunting wild boar with dogs and jumping on their back to cut the throat. She and her husband, they're wearing out the wildlife. right? So even that's, I hear feminists talk about leftist crap, and I just think you cannot legitimately be a feminist who is arguing legitimately for the question of equality and have legitimate opposition to the Second Amendment. Those things cannot legitimately coexist in a functioning mind, because the firearm is the great equalizer. Don't believe me?
Yes.
Try the pawn shop, and I wish you luck. You're going to need it.
Yeah, what's that old joke? God created man, and Sam Colt made him equal.
Yup.
Oh, chat. Yes, those were my babies. However, they're little boys, and they sleep in nothing but underwear, so they were not about to come on camera that way.
Yeah, we could see. I think it was Bo we saw through the door there in his little black Hornets. That's all right. So the next one: woman shoots, kills ex-boyfriend trying to break into her apartment. Say police. Police in Houston say a man was shot and killed when he tried to break into his ex-girlfriend's apartment. So, and yeah, this is why I was talking about my cousins a little bit there. The great equalizers. Investigators said the woman was home when the man got inside using the sliding glass door. She picked up a gun and shot him. What a wonderful sentence. He died at the scene.
Yeah, I mean, that was almost prophetic. It makes the point.
And while officers at the scene said the shooting may have been in self-defense, they added the shooting remained under investigation. And that's the whole article. That's it. We've read the whole article. We're done. No more article.
So that's 2 DRTs.
That's Yep, 2 DRT. Well, 3 if you count the second DRT and the hat trick from Cincinnati. So, Jeffrey Kukin has just realized that why I cracked the joke about the poker knives. Okay, so real quick, let me pop over to the hey, Steven's here again. Good morning, Mr. Ritter. Boy, you need to get Zach to pop on from time to time. I miss that old dude. But Jeffrey said, I already carry 2 poker knives and a lighter on me at all times. And honestly, Jeffrey, when I read that the first time, I thought you meant poker knives as in just kind of like a small knife that's for poking someone. But I decided to deliberately misinterpret it for the sake of comedy, and I cracked the joke about carrying a blackjack knife and sometimes one that plays baccarat. And I see that you just realized that you meant to type pocket knife. But I had fun with that joke at your expense just in the comments, and I thought I'd bring it up. I also wanted to go ahead and highlight, hey, Jeffrey Kukin, I don't believe I've seen you watching the show before, so I'm thrilled to have you join us. That makes you a new viewer. I hope you'll follow the Facebook page so that you can continue to watch it there, or even better, pop over to the YouTube page, the Brushfire Mind, youtube.com/brushfire, the Brushfire Mind, and give us a subscribe there. Every little bit helps, and it'll help us keep bringing this content to you. Before we go on to the next article, I am nigh depleted, so I think we should take a short break and hear a word from our sponsors. Are you tired of bugs, dirty air, and weather? Consider space. There's lots to see. It's pet friendly, and you'll sleep happily in your hermetically sealed pods. And most importantly, none of that pesky air to have qualities. If this sounds appealing to you, it's an intense, long training process, and I suggest you contact Elon Musk on Twitter, and we'll be looking forward to his sarcastic response. And 30 seconds seems to be enough for me to get up and down the stairs with a fresh cup of coffee, but Cameron is lagging slightly behind. Not that I'm particularly frustrated about it, But
Hey, don't turn it on yet.
oh, we're gonna get buzzed. We're gonna get busted for that one.
No. All I did was walk away for just a second. Love you, buddy. It's fine. It's fine.
Oh, Danny says Jeffrey's a Polytech friend. Well, then I got to tell Danny thank you for the referral, because we like the insurance agents we used to be, we're all about referrals. Okay, so we're moving on. Numerous people attacked by vicious dog. Nearby man shoots and kills dog. Tinicum Twip, Pennsylvania. Oh, and Steve's not watching. Numerous people attacked by vicious dog. We'd like to show you. No, I don't want your notifications. Bugger off. Oh, wow. Several people are injured and, a dog is dead in Delaware County after the pup is said to have attacked numerous people before being shot and killed Saturday afternoon. Your content has exclusively learned. Oh, good for you. Law enforcement sources tell Your Content they responded to the 100 block of Saudi Avenue in Tinicum Township just before 1 p.m. Saturday. Frantic witnesses quickly called 911 to report a mass dog attack, according to the source. That's when an individual pulled out a gun, shooting the vicious dog to its death. Okay. We're gonna have to have a little fun with this one. It's a mass dog attack. Here's the problem. It's like a man-eating chicken, right? Remember the old Boy Scouts skit about the man-eating chicken? The kid runs across the stage screaming, "Help, help! I'm being chased by a man-eating chicken." And then a man walks across the stage behind him with a bucket of chicken, eating chicken. Because ambiguity in prose is a dangerous little road to walk. If you call 911 and report a mass dog attack, the officers might arrive expecting there to be a large pack of dogs, or a giant dog, or perhaps a single dog that has attacked a mass of people. Ambiguity is not your friend when reporting what should be actionable intelligence.
Yeah, what's that whole joke about comma placement being so important? It's the difference between helping your Uncle Jack off a horse and helping your Uncle Jack off a horse. Oh, chat. Yep, you guys did see that, didn't you?
Oh yeah. Yeah, he ran in the room across the screen just as I switched back from the ad from our sponsors. And the thing is, while the ad from our sponsors is running, I can't see your screen, so I didn't know he was there. I hit the button to switch back over, like, oh, hey, there's a little boy. Okay. So, speaking of jacking off horses, I'm going to take this opportunity to tell a little war story. At one of the spook colleges I went to, so Intel World, obviously, you have to have the clearances, the top secret and all that. And part of getting a top secret government security clearance involves taking polygraph tests. Well, there are two primary types of polygraph tests that you take in that. One of them is the regular polygraph test, where they ask all the questions. You know, have you committed X, Y, and Z crimes? You know, do you have financial problems? Have you been divorced? Have you basically, have you done bad stuff that you're ashamed of that you'll get in trouble for, or that you could be blackmailed over? And then there's what's called the lifestyle polygraph test. And for the most part, it doesn't really matter what your answer is. The concern is not whether you're into weird stuff. The concern is whether or not you're into weird stuff and embarrassed about it so that you can be blackmailed over it. So one of the questions is, have you ever engaged or participated in bestiality? Have you ever had sex with a farm animal? That's one of the questions that you get asked. So we had this one kid. He was about maybe 20, 22 years old. And he had to stop the interrogator right there. He's like, okay, now hold on. I have to explain this. And he begins to tell the story. And it's not all that bad. He worked on a farm, and he was in charge of managing horses on a farm for some time, and part of the normal course of his duties was studying horses for breeding purposes. Or, more to the point, collecting material. And so he was afraid that if he just answered no, it would technically be a lie. Now, obviously, the thing that he's doing there is not some fetish thing. It's not him actually having sex with the horse, except in a very technical way, right? It's not like he's sneaking out onto some farmer's pasture with Velcro mittens on, right? But he was just terrified that if he answered the question no, it would register as a lie. As far as I'm aware, he continued to be called Stud for the rest of his military career. That was 10 years ago, 12 years ago.
Everybody gets a nickname.
So, all right, moving on. One intruder killed, one wounded in shooting during home invasion in Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge. I went down to the French Quarter where we used to hold each other tight. One intruder killed, one wounded in shooting during home invasion on Eleanor Drive. Who? Eleanor. One suspect was fatally shot and another was wounded in a home invasion Friday night on Eleanor Drive, Baton Rouge, police said. First responders received a call that several people had entered a home around 7 p.m. in the 3700 block of Eleanor Drive armed with handguns, according to a news release. The homeowner fired at the invaders and struck two suspects. So there were more than two to begin with, and he only shot two of them. The suspects drove to the 8000 block of Airline Highway at the racetrack gas station. After the shooting, police said Altrin Dukes, 19, was found dead from gunshot injuries at the scene. Another suspect was transported to a local hospital for his injuries. Dwayne Davis, a third suspect, was booked into the East Baton Rouge Parish Prison. It was the fourth shooting death on Friday. Well,
wow.
It was the fourth shooting death on Friday. Two people were shot and killed on Sherwood Forest Boulevard around 12:30 p.m., and another man was discovered dead in a motel on Airline Highway Friday morning, near the road's intersection with North Foster Drive. Damn, Baton Rouge, you scary.
I know. Like, was that Chicago?
Right?
Yeah, and because we grew up in an era, anytime talk about Baton Rouge, like, I want that Justin Wilson voice. Like, I
guarantee.
It's much more better that way.
It's much more better that way. A little bit of wine in the sauce, a little bit of wine in the gumbo, a little bit of wine in Justin. God, have you ever heard him tell jokes about football? He's fantastic.
He just tells jokes, and I think because he's got that super folksy, like, Louisiana accent, like, they're just funny.
Well, like, we grew up with him from his cooking show, and his cooking show was fantastic. But he was a stand-up comedian too, right?
No.
Yes. And it's so if y'all don't know this, if you listen to Pandora, you can do a Pandora channel that's exclusively comedians. And basically what you do is you go in just like you're going to create a music channel where, you know, like you're going to type in the Beatles and it's going to put together a bunch of songs that are like Beatles songs and make you a radio station that's just so that's how Pandora works. The same thing applies to comedians. So if you pop on Pandora and you search for, you know, like Justin Wilson or Andy Griffith or Louis Grizzard, then it's going to put together a comedy channel that's going to be those kind of comedians, right? You're not going to end up with your Chris Rocks and stuff like that in there, which I really like it that way because I like Chris Rock, Ralphie May. I like those comedians, but it's a different flavor. I don't want to listen to Andy Griffith talking, you know, doing the Southern interpretation of Romeo and Juliet and have it immediately followed by Chris Rock explaining the difference between, you know, different types of people.
Yeah, I've got. It's funny that you mentioned that. I've got a Mitch Hepburn channel.
Yep.
And I've got a Jeff Foxworthy channel. And the Jeff Foxworthy
I lost a buttonhole.
And the Jeff Foxworthy channel is the one I can listen to when the kids are around.
Oh God. Ritter just said he had a Marine buddy who got caught in basic and endured the nickname Spanky for the rest of his tour. And Danny says, Louis Grizzard. Yeah, you know, Louis Grizzard had a weak heart. He had one valve that was weak and he had to have several bypass surgeries. And he talked about it in one of his stand-up routines. He said, I've got a weak heart. I had to have a surgery on it, and it's because my daddy didn't get a good toe hold.
Probably didn't help that he smoked like a freight train for his whole life.
That probably didn't help him either.
Even wrote about it in one of his books where one of the most frustrating things that ever happened is when after his like third divorce or something, he tried to get back into the dating scene and public opinion had shifted against smokers. That might have been in Chili Dogs Only Bark at Night.
It has a great bibliography. Chili Dogs Only Bark at Night. There's a wild bear chip in the woods. If I ever get back to Georgia, I'm going to nail my feet to the ground. Fantastic books. I think I read them all on a toilet. And that's the point.
If love were oil, I'd be about a quart low.
Yeah. I basically, when I'm on the toilet, I read either the Constitution or Louis Grizzard. Sometimes Aristotle.
Like you do.
Like you do. I mean, you're just sitting there. Be ashamed to waste all that usable brain time. All right, police. Man smashed car with axe handle in Vancouver Lowe's parking lot. Vehicle owner then shot him. To be clear, okay, so Vancouver actually crosses the border. So this is Vancouver, Washington. This is not the Vancouver where everybody's imaginary girlfriend lives. Police are investigating a shooting in the parking lot of a Lowe's store in Vancouver. A 911 caller told dispatchers he shot someone outside the store at number Southeast Mill Plain Boulevard on Friday evening. Investigators said a 49-year-old man was in the parking lot getting ready to leave when he saw another man running out of the store's east emergency door carrying merchandise and heading toward a waiting vehicle with a woman in the driver's seat. Oh, this isn't dude busted my window and I shot him because I'm pissed off. This was a white knight with a magic sword came in and saved a damsel in distress. As much as the firearm is the great equalizer, ladies and gentlemen, it is still okay for good men to do good deeds on behalf of women in need. That's still okay. So this is chivalry in action. I loved the Romeo and Juliet with it got a lot of flack because Leo DiCaprio was a little It was before he was really coming into his own as a solid actor. But I loved the thing where everybody had, instead of actual swords and daggers, they had shotguns and pistols that had the word sword or dagger or neatly carved on the weapon. I loved that. I thought that was a fantastic anachronistic interpretation. So anyway, the witness drove closer to the other vehicle in an attempt to get the license plate information, according to the police. Investigators said the 22-year-old man who ran out of the store approached the witness's vehicle and began hitting it with an axe handle, including breaking out windows. Excuse me. The driver got out of his vehicle as the man with the axe handle moved toward him. According to the police, investigators said the witness pulled out a gun and shot the man with the axe handle. That's a badass axe. I want an axe handle I can shoot people with, like the big dude in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Shotgun axe. But that would be such an impractical weapon in reality. Like you'd only have to fuck that one up once.
Well, I mean, let's be real. A shotgun axe. If I swing a shotgun with an axe head on it the way that I swing an axe, I'll break the shotgun.
Right. I mean, visually, you're talking about Mac. Visually, it was a great gag, but
yeah.
Like every time he ever picked it up, I was like, "Oh God, don't grab it the wrong way, Mac."
Somebody said that needs to be the next commercial. What's the next commercial, Krista?
Oh yeah, chat. What needs to be the next commercial?
Adding one more to the comedy bit. Hal Holbrook's playing Mark Twain. Oh hell yeah, Patrick. I remember the first time I saw him, I was sitting on a powder keg, smoking. But he never did get around to telling the story of his grandfather's old ram. And there it was, the man with the carpet factory. The machinery made a snatch at him, and it wove him up into 39 yards of the finest carpet. His wife wanted to do right by him. She wanted to unroll it out into a tunnel, but there weren't any tunnels for sale. So she stood it up. So she had him boxed. She had him boxed up. Oh, Krista says we need to do a commercial for the axe gun. Well, the next commercial is actually going to be a PSA, but we'll get there. So the driver got out of his vehicle as the man with the axe handle moved toward him. According to the police, investigators said the witness pulled a gun and shot the man with the axe handle. The shooter then called 911 and provided aid to the other man until emergency crews arrived at the scene. The man who was shot was taken to the hospital for treatment and remained in the hospital Monday, according to the Vancouver Police Department. Major Crimes Unit is continuing to investigate, and no other details were released about this case, including possible criminal charges for either man. Now, this is in Washington, so there might be criminal charges filed against the hero in this case. That's an unfortunate possibility. That sounds like a pretty clear-cut case, not of self-defense, but of defense of others. And in my book, that is always correct.
Yeah. The indifference of good men. Probably no greater evil on the planet.
And just because I love the line, Patrick's quoting Hal Holbrook from the Mark Twain series. I've given up lying. The field is overrun with amateurs. Lawyers, politicians, salesmen, comedian, all of us, preachers, all of us in the trade. Oh, we're actually plugging through these pretty good. We've only been on for an hour, and we've only got 4 left after this one. So yeah, I'm hoping everybody's liking this particular format for the content. Got a pretty good crowd this morning. We were up to 5 on Facebook, but dropped down to 1. YouTube is still going strong. I see 6 viewers remaining on YouTube. Looks like we lost a few, but I only see 3 of you chatting with us. So if you're watching, drop us a chat. Say hello. Engage with some of these other chuckleheads. Patrick said also check out Jerry Clower. Hell yes, check out Jerry Clower. Jerry! Did you eat that banana yet, boy? No, don't do it. I took one bite and went stone blind.
I love our chat.
Hell yeah. Patrick says, this is like a binge of DRTs. I freaking love it. Yes, you do, baby. Yes, you do. Police off-duty officer shoots, kills burglar in West Miami-Dade. Oh, I've recently become a big fan of Miami-Dade.
Yeah.
Kind of, they did such a, they came out so strong for the president. Oh, I might just have to watch Dexter again. West Miami-Dade, Florida. An off-duty City of Miami police officer shot and killed a man who allegedly attempted to break into a West Miami-Dade home while his teenage son was inside, according to investigators. Miami-Dade police and fire rescue units responded to the scene along the 700 block of Southwest 98th Court at around 4 p.m. Monday. I hear boom, 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 neighbor Raul Ortiz said. Somebody's shooting with a pistol like 10 or 13 times. Someone tries breaking into a West Miami-Dade house this afternoon. 13-year-old boy in house. Boy calls parents for help. Boy's off-duty Miami PD father comes to house, encounters, shoots, and kills accused attempted burglar. According to the... Good God, this is a lot of article for one of these. We don't usually get this much article out of one of these stories. According to police, a person attempted to break into the home while a 13-year-old boy was inside. The 13-year-old child located within the residence contacted his parents and stated that someone was trying to break in from the rear. Miami-Dade Police Detective Christopher Welch said his father, a City of Miami police officer, responded on scene, confronted the subject, shots were fired. He ultimately succumbed to his injuries. Okay, we know from earlier in the story that it was the burglar who was shot and succumbed to his injuries. Dear young police officer, please, 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 consider your ambiguity. His father, a police officer, responded on scene, confronted the subject. Shots were fired, and he ultimately succumbed to his injuries. That sounds a hell of a lot like the burglar shot the cop, but we know that not to be the case. Sounds like your mouth needs a copy editor. That's a natural response, I would say, said neighbor Orencio Castillo. I'm liking this community. That's natural, said another nearby resident. Somebody was trying to break into her house, she said. She called her ex-husband, that is a police officer, and there was some type of altercation, and there was a shooting. It was a robbery. It was an attempted robbery anyway, and the bad person was the one hit. Hallelujah.
I mean, the joke's been told over and over and over again. But
Lucas just popped in and said, wow, you're still alive? Hey. Yeah, Lucas, we started with a dozen DGU stories this morning, and we're working through them. Cameron's off today, and we're not doing a show on Monday, so we figure, what the hell?
Yeah. So, Lucas popping up just made me lose the train of thought.
Sorry.
That's all right. We still have fantastic chat. And what we got, like 3 left? Because I am
4.
And I am about to have to
go. Yeah, you got to go, Daddy. I know.
Yeah, I promised him biscuits and sausage gravy. And some fantastic person I know gave me a cast iron skillet. And for me, cast iron skillets simply do gravy correctly. Period.
Yes. That is correct. Okay, so here we go. Clerk shoots robbery suspect in Tuscumbia. Apparently that's a place. Tuscumbia, Alabama. A robbery suspect was airlifted to Huntsville Hospital Monday after being shot at a Tuscumbia gas station, police said. Tuscumbia Police Chief Tony Logan said the robbery happened at the Fuel City on Highway 72 around 11 a.m. A clerk shot the suspect as he was trying to get away, Logan said. The clerk, Miranda Mullins, told News 19 she was suspicious of the man when he came into the store. Because he had his hood up and was wearing sunglasses. Ooh, there's video here. Does it have the video of the shooting? Please tell me it's got the security footage. I'm scrubbing through real quick. No, they've got the interview with the clerk, but they don't have the security footage, so I'm going to skip that.
That sounds racist. I'm suspicious of the hoodie.
Um, uh, okay, I would like to point out, could have been a white dude under the hoodie, also, who's wearing a hoodie. So, can you tell?
I don't know. A place like Tuscumbia.
Scumbia!
That's fun to say.
The suspect was airlifted to was the suspect was airlifted from Helen Keller to Huntsville Hospital. His condition was not immediately available Monday afternoon. Mullins continued working her shift after the incident. Authorities are investigating the possibility the suspect is connected to other armed robberies across the shoals. Well then, so that's just a straight up DRT.
Whoops.
Or no, I'm sorry. That's a straight up DGU, not a DRT, not a DRT. So, hey, Steven says he has to take off. It's great having you. I appreciate you watching the show, Steven. We'll see you next week. We'll see you next Tuesday because again, I won't be here Monday morning or Thursday morning next week. So. Krista is mad now because she has to go fix her own breakfast. So, let's move on to the next one. Honestly, I didn't think we'd get through all of them. I opened up a bunch of them. I did not think we'd get through all of them. Police say homeowner shoots two suspects. Talk for a minute, Cameron.
Police say homeowner shoots two suspects. That's as far as I got.
Police say homeowner shoots two suspects, killing one in Elk City home invasion. The Elk City Police Department is investigating a deadly home invasion. Police said the victim told investigators two men broke into his bedroom. That's when investigators said the homeowner then opened fire on both, killing one of the would-be thieves. I saw 5 or 6 police cars. They had all alleys blocked off, and Tristan Wooten, Elk City resident. Cones had the area shut off. People living nearby said they woke up and noticed police all over the neighborhood Saturday morning. They blocked off all in front of the tennis courts. There to the south, and all the good God, please. Oh, Jesus. If you're going to give statements to the press who are going to record your statements verbatim, give them better statements. Terry Jordan, your mouth needs a copy editor. Okay, moving on. Right now, Elk City Police said Samuel Cash. I'm just not going to read the rest of his quote because Jesus, what a meandering cluster. Elk City Police said Samuel Castro and Isaiah Johnson got into a home near Watkins and C Street. The man living inside said one of them pulled a gun and there was a struggle. Both were shot, with Castro dying in the man's bedroom. Police said Johnson ran off and ended up at the hospital. The situation has some in Elk City concerned. Why? Apparently the bad guy's dead.
Yeah,
There's
this was a
nothing left
failed
to be
home
concerned
invasion.
about. Home invasion is kind of a whole different level, said Jordan. It really steps up, and it's something you think about as a homeowner, and your family's here trying to keep them safe. Oh, poor speakers. Something like this happens. It does hit pretty close to home, said Wooten. It does make you want to step up your guard a little bit more. Johnson was treated and is now in jail. Police said they're still investigating this incident. If Johnson's the homeowner, Oh, no, Johnson is not the homeowner. He is one of the two suspects. I got you. Okay.
He's the not deceased suspect.
Patrick says, if that makes you concerned, you need more range time. Okay, robbery suspect fatally shot by victim in Lauderdale Lakes. Accomplice arrested on murder, robbery charges. Oh, is this going to be one of those felony murder things where you and your buddy went and did something stupid? One of you got greased and then the other one got charged because of it? Let's find out. A man was fatally shot by the victim he was trying to rob last week in Lauderdale Lakes, authorities said. According to Broward Sheriff's Office spokeswoman Carrie Codd, I don't know how that particular sentence managed to get away from me, but I felt it. The unidentified man and another suspect identified as Litinus Alcuria, 41 of Margate, committed an armed robbery around 10:30 p.m. last Friday in the 3900 block of Northwest 34th Street. Codd said one of the robbery victims fired his gun and shot Alcura's accomplice. Alcura drove the man away from the scene and called 911, Codd said. She said deputies responded as well as Broward Sheriff Fire Rescue personnel. The man who was shot was taken to a nearby hospital, where he died. So it's a DOT, dead over there, not a DRT, not a dead right here. But close enough. Alcuria was arrested on charges of murder and 2 counts of armed robbery. The case will be forwarded to the Broward County State Attorney's Office. So it sounds like he is being charged with the felony murder because... Okay, so in a few states, Georgia being one of them, this is Florida, so Florida man. So pay attention, Florida man. You can be charged with felony murder if you are in the process of committing a felony with an accomplice and the accomplice is killed by by your intended victim. So the logic there is that your involvement with the commission of the crime is a significant contributing factor to the death of your accomplice, and therefore you, not the victim who was rightfully and lawfully defending themselves with a lawfully owned firearm, are guilty of murder, or at least of a significant contribution to the death of your accomplice. And that's what felony murder is, and I love it.
Yeah, if
you go rob a liquor store and with your buddy gets greased and you're going down for murder. That's awesome.
Yeah, felony murder in a nutshell. If you hadn't been committing a felony, nobody would have gotten a case of the dead.
And this appears to be a pretty permanent case of the dead.
Well, with one notable exception, dead seems to stick.
Oh no, there are plenty of notable exceptions. My buddy Robin Allen was declared dead for several minutes before being revived. That's dead. Didn't stick. A lot of respect there. He was run over by a car in San Francisco, or a truck rather, a large truck.
It's ruinous.
A thing. Resident shoots 2 suspects in Lynchburg home invasion. Lynchburg. The Lynchburg Police Department is investigating a home invasion that occurred on Wooldridge Circle early Wednesday morning, November the 25th. According to police, at 1:40 a.m., officers responded to the 100 block Wooldridge Circle for a report of a burglary in progress. They say 2 men knocked on a residence and assaulted the resident before trying to enter the home. The resident shot both suspects, who suffered non-life-threatening injuries. 27-year-old James Franklin of Roanoke is charged with breaking and entering and assault and battery. And 26-year-old Alan Douglas Mold of Lynchburg is charged with breaking, entering, and assault and battery. This is an ongoing investigation. Okay, this one sucks. Boy, those dude. You see this face right here? This guy on the left, his eyes are too close together. He reminds me of W. I didn't vote for George W. Bush when I was old enough to vote for him, because his eyes were too close together and I didn't trust it. This guy's eyes are too close together like W. And this dude just looks like a honey badger. Looks like a honey badger that's been shaved with a wet noodle. Yeah. We're not going to miss these guys.
Yeah, we do engage in ad hominem on this channel.
Absolutely.
Free speech absolutists here.
But I never engage in ad hominem without also attack. I will never attack the person without also attacking the argument. I will attack the argument first, And then the ad hominem is my little cherry on top.
Yeah, and I think ad hominem's okay with felons.
Oh, totally. Well, their argument was, we can take your property without compensation or voluntarism. The rebuttal was, bang.
Was 9mm.
B is for bullet, bitch.
Yes. God, I can't wait to play that game again.
I can't wait to get you playing the third one. Or the pre-sequel. Or the original. But yeah. Yeah.
There's no Salvador in the other ones.
Salvador is my spirit animal.
Yes, he is. Two guns, bitches!
All right, so that's a dozen DGUs for one Friday. That's a good long Friday show, an hour and 18 minutes. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. A little housekeeping here at the end. We are trying to put together, hopefully Sunday evening, we'll be doing one of our monthly clusterfucks. I don't know how many of us will be on there. We'll see how that one pans out. But we are trying to put one together that should hopefully have Steve Rodemeyer with us. Patrick, since you're watching, you're obviously part of that thread. Hopefully we can get Mario in there and, get 4 or 5 or 6 of us running our mouths kind of like this and just cutting up and bullshitting for a couple of hours. So y'all watch out for that. I'll get it scheduled and announced as early as possible. So if you have, as you should, click the like, share, and subscribe buttons and click the bell notification so you get notifications, or follow us and like us on Facebook, then you'll get notifications when we're about to go live. And we'd love to have you guys join us in the live chat while we're doing our clusterfuck, where the half a dozen or so of us are talking over each other, or it may just be 3. We'll see what happens. Danny's reminding me that I need to study for my COVID test this weekend. Yes, of course. I hear it's multiple choice now.
If you're Erica Badu, you could be infected in one nostril and not infected in the other.
Oh, she was tested in both nostrils twice and was positive in one and not in the, like I said, it's multiple choice. Yeah. So, all right, guys, thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Especially share, especially share, especially share. We need more subscribers. I'm like 90% sure that almost everybody in the thread there is subscribed.
Right.
Except for maybe you, Jeffrey. If you could join us on the YouTubes with a subscription, that would be choice. But we appreciate the new viewers as well. We love you guys. Thanks for watching. And make sure you leave something in the comments, as not just in the live chat, but in the comments below the video after we've gone off live, about how'd you like the format today with the several the glut of DGUs. Had a blast doing that myself. I enjoyed that. And let us know what other topics you want to hear us talking about. Politics is about to wind down for a little while. As you all know, politics is my second favorite sport outside of active war. But the real big politics stuff is about to wind down, and we'll have to start looking at some activism and hopefully we'll start seeing legitimate news and start talking about Chinese conflict and wars happening in India and whatever. So y'all keep an eye out for that. Leave us comments, like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you Tuesday, not Monday, because I have to go get my COVID test, and they're going to poke me in the arm too. So Tuesday, maybe Sunday with a clusterfuck. Be safe out there. Oh, what shit, it's Friday. Huh, I almost forgot it was Friday. Safety brief. All right. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, farm animals. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, farm animals. Alcohol, drugs.
Videotape.
Fast driving and videotape. No 2 at the same time. Don't drive drunk. Don't fry bacon naked. Y'all be safe out there. And we will see you Tuesday.